Grief is an emotional roller coaster of life that happens to everyone, myself included. It's a broken heart. It's a journey into the spiritual world. It is different things for different people. For me, it has been the opportunity to grow my soul.
What is the International Grief Council and what exactly do you do?
Uma Garish and Daniela Norris and I are gathered together to bring the conversation about grief out into the public community, to give people an opportunity to talk about it, to educate people who are not prepared to deal with grief or don't know how to be caregivers of those who are grieving. And we are hoping to start this conversation in a way that will allow people to feel more comfortable with the discussion of grief. Ultimately, we'd like to take it to the United Nations.
I believe you petitioned the UN, and why did you feel so strongly to do so?
Well, I feel they understand grief globally better than any organization. I think they can do something as an organization, but I haven't yet seen what is possible. So we would like to kind of jumpstart the conversation to give them ideas and perhaps join with other people to see if the Organization of the United Nations can cause healing of those who are grieving. There's a tsunami of grief going on around the world, and they know it very well. My hope is that they will do something very, very effective about it.
What are some of the ways in which you help people cope with grieving?
My way is through workshops. The book that I wrote, I give them ideas that I used, references to things that worked for me, because everybody grieves differently. Everybody has a different way of healing. And my way is through transpersonal journaling, which allows my daughter, my husband's family, and my mother to come through to me in a way that allows me to learn how to help others and to help myself in the grieving process.
Why do you think it's so important to talk about grief?
Because for some reason, when we go within and we don't talk about it, it causes us to get stuck. There are people in families, husbands, wives, children, who will not talk about grief because they don't want to upset the other person, or they don't know how to talk about it, so they don't say anything. Family, friends will not know what to say. And so it's partly an educational process to say, in the United States particularly, it's okay to talk about it. The more you talk about it, the more you open up possibilities of talking to someone who could give you the idea of what your next step would be.
Do you have any words of advice that you would like the audience to go home with or remember about you all?
About the Grief Council?
Yes.
Yes, we would like you to join us. We would like people to think about how can we help one another by joining together. That we, as culturally different and religiously different people, can find a common denominator of grief conversation. It seems to me that the more organizations, the more people who discuss it, the more common denominators we'll find, and the more people we can help. The amount of people suffering right now is just really hard to explain. It's so many people, you can't even add numbers to it. But in the United States, 8 million people are affected every year by grief and the death of someone else. It's very close to them. 8 million people that need help, and sometimes they're just stuck and they need ways to move forward. We're hoping to jumpstart that conversation so that they can find the connections they need.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brittany. It's really nice of you to interview us and send this story out into the world and make it a better place, hopefully.